G'day guys, this is episode 17 of Miami Masterclass. My name is Ian. We are going to run through the off-season of 2016-2017, and as you can see on the front screen, we had some bad news straight away. During the playoffs, we got notification that Christian Yelich had a setback with his injury, so he was out for a further 3 weeks, and that actually kind of forced my hand a little bit because after the last episode, I actually went to work and then I went to bed and got up in the morning, and the entire time I was thinking, who do I trade? Do I get rid of Christian Yelich or do I get rid of Ben Revere? Because I had every intention of moving Kyle Schwarber to left field to free up the catcher role and hopefully bring in someone with a bit more ability in that position. So that meant that we had Christian Yelich, who's a very, very good left fielder. He had a great season last season. And we also had Ben Revere in centre field. Now, I thought about if we got rid of Ben Revere, we wouldn't have a great lead-off contact hitter. And if we got rid of Christian Yelich, we'd be giving up a good bat. But with Christian Yelich getting injured, having a setback with his injury, it sort of got the cogs turning in my mind a little bit, because I figured Yelich gets injured quite frequently. He was injured for about a month, I think it was, earlier this season. I think he got injured last season. So I figured, you know what? Let's get rid of Christian Yelich, especially compared to Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber's the better batter, not quite as talented in the field as Yelich is, but we could get some real value for Yelich. So that injury basically started putting the wheels in motion, and I started looking for trades to get rid of Christian Yelich. For those of you that are interested, the Boston Red Sox won the World Series. They knocked over the Arizona Diamondbacks in 7 games. Our division rivals, the New York Mets, they got quite close, but they fell agonisingly short. Johnny Cueto was the hero for the Red Sox. He won the Game 7 and Game 4. He got the losing decision in the Game 1 there. So, on to the review of the season goals. Jeffrey Loria is quite happy, all things considered. He was very pleased with our team record of 80-82. Truth be told, I was as well. He was happy with the improvement at second base after bringing in Joe Panic, and he was so-so with the home runs stats going up. He's still desperate for a Cy Young Award winner, and he's actually a little bit frustrated that I haven't signed anyone yet. But in the free agency for this off-season, we had Cliff Lee and CC Sabathia, of course, both Cy Young winners. They were available, but their stats were poor, and obviously they're getting on in age. They ended up retiring. I actually gave a contract offer to Cliff Lee, but I withdrew it a few days later because I thought I don't want him in the team. He's not good enough to be in the team. So we ended up not signing a Cy Young Award winner. He wanted the increase in the attendance. That never really happened, and that remains for next year too. Increased profit, he's very happy about that. I'm not too surprised because he loves money. And he thinks if I'm as good as saving, then we could probably go on to win the World Series with my abilities. He still expects us to make the postseason by 2020, and he wants me to sign Ivan Nova to an extension. I'm not too thrilled about that. And next year he wants to play 500 ball. This one got me excited. New budget. I thought, hello, this could be good. We saved a lot of money. He gave us a whopping $98 million this time, $1 million more than last year. But our payroll did increase to $75 million. That was about $67 or $68 million in 2016. So a slight improvement there, but we're still the smallest budget in the whole of the MLB. He's obviously been happy with how we performed because he's increased my contract for 2 years, $450,000 a year. I can't really complain about that. 2019 seems to be the target for reaching the playoffs. So I'm guessing he's extending it until then, hoping that I can do so. This one, just a quick one. Chuck Hernandez, our pitching coach, you may remember in a previous episode, his contract was coming to an end. It ran out. I tried to re-sign him. He wasn't interested. So we had to start looking for a pitching coach. In terms of arbitration, Martin Prado and Nori Aoki, I did not give them qualifying offers because neither of them are worth $15 million. And as you can see, I withdrew all my offers for all of my relievers. Steve Cishek, Dale Taylor, AJ Ramos, Brian Morris, Brad Hand, and Preston Claiborne all didn't get any offers. Henderson, Alvarez, and Sam Dyson, the starting pitchers, they both got some qualifying offers, along with Tanner Sheppers, the only other reliever that did. Tim Federowicz, Jose Iglesias, Danny Santana, and Ben Revere all had offers as well. This was the pitching coach we brought in, Dave LaRoche. Not much to talk about there. He's all right. Let's see how he performs. As the off-season progressed, we got our arbitration decisions. Tim Federowicz, they ruled in his favour, and he got $2.7 million. That's a bit of a disappointment, because that's money's a lot for him. Henderson Alvarez, they ruled in his favour. He's on $7.1 million. He's a free agent at the end of 2017. I don't know if we'll keep him around on that money. I might even try to trade him away if our season goes south. Tanner Sheppers, we got him for $900,000. They ruled in our favour. That's a steal. Ben Revere, same thing. They ruled in our favour. $5.9 million. I think that's a pretty fair deal, because he is a good contact hitter and he's a speedy leadoff guy. Danny Santana, they ruled in his favour, $2 million, but he did play a lot of games last year. I think he batted around just on 300, so he's worth keeping around. Jose Iglesias, they ruled in our favour as well, $1.9 million. And Sam Dyson, they ruled in his favour, $4.9 million. He's not worth that in the slightest. So that was another player that I decided he's got to go. I can't afford $4.9 million. He's not good enough for that price. So we were actively looking at getting rid of Yelich and Sam Dyson. But the first decision we made was we brought back a familiar face, JT Realmuto. We traded Christian Yelich to Baltimore, and we brought back Realmuto. And I think perhaps we got slightly jibbed a little bit. Baltimore might have come away slightly better off, but Realmuto had a very good year last year. That was his proper breakout season. He went 312 with the bat, 366 on base percentage there. He was their standout player at catcher. He was their everyday catcher. And we, bringing him in, it meant that we could move Schwarber to left field to replace Yelich. And Realmuto actually complements Federowicz perfectly. I'll show that when we get to the lineup screen before the season. They're going to basically be platooning the catcher role, which is really good. A few days later, we got rid of Sam Dyson and Heckavaria, along with Brent Keys and Tyler Kolek, who I'll talk about in a minute, along with some minor leaguer shortstop, and we brought in Madison Bumgarner. The San Francisco Giants, they are in financial ruin. They needed to get rid of everyone. I actually looked at trying to bring in Buster Posey, but his contract was far, far too big. Even we couldn't afford that. So we brought in Madison Bumgarner. So Sam Dyson swap for Bumgarner is pretty good. Heckavaria, his time with us was running low. We wanted to free up some space in the active roster and a little bit of money that he's costing us. Tyler Kolek, you may remember he was in our only player in the top 100 prospects list. And our scout didn't rate him. Everyone else seems to think he's going to be really good. Our scout didn't think he was anything special at all. He's 20 years old. I think he was in single A this year, and he had an ERA of 4.5, something ridiculous like that. So I thought that'll butter up the Giants a little bit, and we got Madison Bumgarner in. He's on $11.5 million. Next year it bumps up to about $12 million. And in 2019, it goes up something astronomical, like $17 million or something like that, but it is a team option. So I think that's a real steal. As you can look at his stats there, his in-game stats have increased. I mean, in 2014, there he had a 2.98 ERA, and then in 2015, 2016, it bumped up into the mid to low fours. But he's still very, very good. He's only 27 years of age. We're going to have him for at least a couple of years. And this kind of forced my hand. We had to start thinking about becoming a win-now sort of mentality. We couldn't sort of tread water like we did last year, just trying to save money, trying to pick up bargains. This guy, he brought in the intention. We've got intentions now. We are going to try and win the World Series, or at the very least go deep into the playoffs. So I had to start looking around for some big trades. And we brought in Ketel Marte from the Seattle Mariners. He's a 23-year-old second baseman. And we had to give up a big, big player, Ryan Mountcastle. We had to give him away. Now, I know some of you are screaming at whatever device you're watching this on, saying that is the worst deal I've ever seen. But there's method to my madness, because Ryan Mountcastle is a very, very talented shortstop, but he's still a few years away from cracking into the big league. So he's not good for us. Yes, we can hang on to him. He's a blue chip prospect, but we need to bring in people who are ready to play now. If we're going to make a push for the playoffs this season and possibly even next season, we need to make moves that are going to affect us now in the positive way. And Ketel Marte is that player. He can play a shortstop, and that's the position I moved him to, is shortstop. And as you can see, he's a good contact hitter, doesn't strike out, and he's great at stealing the bases as well. He's a real pacey guy. Defensive ratings are a fraction low for where I'd want him as a shortstop, but he's still very, very talented. He only broke into the Mariners team last year, but look at that, he went 278, and his on base was 358. I'm very pleased with him. We did have to give away Christian Walker as well. He was our first baseman that we brought in the Baltimore trade at the beginning of last year for Real Muto. But he wasn't going to break in. He was well behind CJ Cron, and that's what the Mariners wanted. So we needed to actively now look for a first baseman as well. We'd sort of sewn up shortstop, so we still had third base, and we still had first base, or at least cover for first base. And on top of that, we needed to fill out all our relievers because we only had Tanner Shepard in that relief role. But Ketel Marte is going to come in, and I'm really pleased with him. And look, he's only 23, and he's got oodles of talent, and so I'm really pleased to have seen him join the squad. We then made our first free agency signing on the 19th of December. Eric O'Flaherty, he comes from the Chicago Cubs. He's a brilliant reliever, left-handed pitcher. We just signed on just over $1 million just for the year. And those stats really tempted me because when he was with Oakland, he did fantastically. Last year, he had a bit of a slump and had sort of his worst major league season for basically his whole career, really. 2007 was his worst. So 4.28 ERA with the Cubbies. I think we got him at a steal for $1 million. He's on the old side, so he's going to decline slightly, but I'm not too fussed about that. I've mentioned before, I like seeing relievers. They're dime a dozen, so I'm happy to see them go after a year and bring in newer, fresher guys. We also brought a familiar name back, Real Muto. Of course, you'll remember we had him before, and he's come back, and now we've re-signed Martin Prado on $1.9 million. He was $11 million last year, and his stats were very good last year. He did go 282 at the plate, 325 on base, and I don't think he's too bad. And he is the best third baseman that was available on the free agents list. So we decided to re-sign him, $1.9 million. We got him just under what he wanted. I think he wanted about $2.3 million. We lowballed him a little bit, and he was happy to come back. So he's very good. I'm still actively looking for a better third baseman, but if we couldn't find one, he was going to be more than adequate. Just after Christmas, we re-signed Jose Fernandez to a one-year contract, $11.4 million. That ties him up till next year. That allows me, because that means we then have Bumgarner and Fernandez tied up for at least 2 years. So if this year's not that great, if we don't make the playoffs or we don't quite get there in the World Series, then at least we've got two great pitchers to build the team around again next year for any changes that we need to make. For those that are interested, Manny Ramirez, Guerrero, and Ivan Rodriguez all were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then we signed another reliever of free agency, Bobby Parnell. Sports writers weren't too thrilled with this one, as it seems like he's got a bit of an attitude problem. But he's only here for a year, $2.2 million price tag. He was very good. We picked him up from our division rivals, the Mets, where he's been for his whole career. I like him. He's very good. $2.2 million. It's a fraction on the high side, but he's going to be basically our closer, really, after losing Cishek. So we'll have to wait and see on him again. He's 32 years of age, but having those mature heads in the clubhouse will really help. We picked up our first baseman, our backup first baseman, Jesus Aguilar. He played for Texas last year. He only made 19 starts, but he did go 329, but it's not a very big sample size to really judge him on. When he was with Cleveland, he did nothing in the big time. He's nothing more than a backup for CJ Cron. He's on $1.3 million. I quite like him. As a backup player, his expectations to be a bench player as well, so he's going to be nothing more than that. But we'll have to wait and see as to whether he performs as well as his ratings seem to suggest. We signed our third reliever from free agency. This guy's the big one, Tazawa. We picked him up on a 3-year deal. He's only on $2.6 million this year, but then 2018 it bumps up to $4.5 million, something ridiculous like that. So this is a big year for him, because if he doesn't perform, then I'm going to be trading him away. But he did have a bit of interest and ended up signing with us. And for $2.6 million, he's going to be good value this year. Next year, $4.5 million. I'm not sure that's going to be real value. But I really like him. He was with Oakland last year, and he did very well. 2.42 ERA off 72 games, 70 innings pitched. So I really like him. We brought another familiar face back as well, Nori Aoki. He comes back. He was the only good outfielder in free agency. There were players like Nick Swisher. Nick Swisher wasn't quite as good with contact or his discipline at the plate as Nori Aoki. And plus, Nick Swisher wanted something like $12 million. So ridiculous. I wasn't going to pay that sort of money. Nori Aoki comes back on slightly less money than he was on last year, actually. We got him for under $1 million. If he plays 3/4 as well as he did last year, then he's going to be another steal. Not much more to say. Again, like last year, he's just going to be a backup for the 3 in the outfield. During the spring training, we got some bad news. Bobby Parnell, on his second start, he got injured and he's out for 4 months with a ruptured tendon in his finger. That was a massive blow. He was our closer, and I was really looking forward to seeing him this season, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back until the end of June now, so that's basically his season over, because I think his pitching ratings are probably going to slump quite severely. His velocity's still up there at the moment. Hopefully he doesn't lose too much of that. He might be able to still do a job for us as the season wears on, but losing him for 4 months, that's a real blow. So that's another thing that forced my hand. I had to start looking for another reliever. There was a couple on the market, but they were in big demand by people like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox, so their salary was being bumped up and up and up and up and up. In the end, we managed to sign Boone Logan for $3.5 million. That's a bit of a rip-off, I think. I mean, it's well in his favour, but he's only staying for a year. In fact, if you look at the messages over there on the left, you can see how many times we had to negotiate with him before he decided to join us. The Dodgers came in and they just kept upping and upping and upping the salary. I like him. He's going to be our closer. Well, certainly was my intention, but Gary Jones isn't going to play him as one. He's all right. His stuff's very, very good. Hopefully, he's only going to come in for a couple of innings and just bamboozle the batters, and we'll be able to get out of some jams there. So that was the end of spring training. We played 500 ball again, 13-13. In terms of batting average, Kyle Schwarber appeared in most of these, and he's going to be really good. He's now our everyday left fielder, which is fantastic, because don't forget, when he's catcher, he's not going to play every game because it's a very demanding role. So now having him out in left field, that's certainly going to give us a bit more of an edge in terms of runs batted in, hopefully. Marte makes a couple of appearances as well. Stanton got 12 walks and did strike out 19 times, which is a bit of a concern, but that's Giancarlo Stanton being Giancarlo Stanton, really, isn't it? In terms of pitches, this is the screen I was really happy with, because Madison Bumgarner and Jose Fernandez, they appear on all the big ones, basically. Opponents' batting averages right down, base runners per 9 innings. 4 of our starters, Thompson, Conley, Bumgarner and Fernandez, all appeared. And walks per 9, Thompson didn't even walk any, which is fantastic. But as you can see, like I say, Bumgarner and Fernandez appear in all the big one. Hits per 9 in the middle there. They're up there in the top 5, which is fantastic to see. So this is our team heading into the 2017 season. We got Jose Fernandez as our opening day pitcher for the second year in a row. Henderson Alvarez actually gets the nod ahead of Madison Bumgarner in the rotation. Adam Conley, he comes up from AAA. Remember, he came up in the expanded roster last year and certainly held his own. If you actually see his pitching ratings there, he's basically the same as Madison Bumgarner, give or take 1 or 2 ratings points there. So he's if he could do as well as Madison Bumgarner does in real life, then we've got a real steal there. Ivan Nova's got the nod in the number 5 role, but every time I come to this screen, it changes. It's Ivan Nova at the moment, but then if I came back to it, it'd be Jake Thompson. I don't know why Gary Jones isn't happy with either of them as the number 5 spot. So who knows how the season's actually going to pan out. At the moment, it's Ivan Nova in the number 5 role. As you can see, Tozawa is our closer. I'm quite happy with that. Boone Logan is backup, but he's our setup man. And Tanner Sheppers is also in setup. Matt Ramsey, he came up, remember, from AAA. He was the closer for the Zephyrs last year, and he's kept his spot in the active roster. Eric O'Flaherty, he's our lefty specialist. Jake Thompson and our lefty Joe Ortiz. So we've got a good mix of lefties and righties now in our rotation and the bullpen, which should help us considerably compared to last year, where we had one lefty, and that was Brad Hand, who was being battered all over the ballpark. In terms of lineups, we're all over the shop now. We don't sort of have a set lineup anymore. Federowicz and JT Realmuto, they are sharing the catcher's role. Federowicz will be appearing against right-handers, and Realmuto will be playing against the left-handers. Excuse me. Realmuto, I like him. I think he will squeeze ahead of Federowicz eventually. If anything, I'd like to swap them around, but Gary Jones likes to do the left-right matchup, so Realmuto's not going to get a great deal of game time, which I'm a bit disappointed about, but hopefully Federowicz can perform well. Jesus Aguirre, he will come in at first base when we're playing in the American League. That's because CJ Cron will be moved to designated hitter role. Otherwise, Cron will be playing first base during the season. Joe Panic, he comes in as second base against the righties, but Marte will take over second base role against left-handers. That's actually not a bad idea because Ben Revere is not very good against the left-handers, so Marte will move up into the leadoff role when we're playing left-handed pitchers. Jose Iglesias, he plays shortstop when we're playing left-handers. Martin Prado, he's got third base all to himself. We couldn't find another third baseman. There really was a very slim pickings in free agency. So I'm glad we re-signed him because he's going to be playing every day for us, which is fantastic. Ketel Marte, I did mention him. He's shortstop most of the season, but he will step up into second base against the left-handers, as I mentioned. Danny Santana, he will actually overtake Ben Revere in centre field against left-handers. Ben Revere's got very poor contact. Is it contact or power? It's power. There you go. He's got very poor power against left-handers compared to Danny Santana. There's not much separating them, really, so Santana will get the nod in centre field. He's a pretty poor centre fielder, to be honest. He's rating sort of 6 or 7 or something like that. So I'm not sure about that, but if it means that everyone gets a good break, no one's going to be playing every single day, because Kyle Schwarber, for instance, he's playing every day. He's left field for us. He's not getting a break. That's a concern. If he gets injured, we're really struggling. Like I say, we do have Nori Aoki there as backup, but he's obviously no Kyle Schwarber, is he? Other than that, Ben Revere will be centre field and will be lead off when he's playing. And the man, Giancarlo Stanton in right field, he's our everyday right fielder as well. And this is our predictions. This is the preseason predictions coming into 2017. We're predicted to go 86 and 76, which is a bit more realistic than the 90 wins we had last year. In terms of our division, the Phillies, they have improved slightly, but they're still expected to come dead last. The New York Mets, they're actually a very good team. To go 79-83 in the predictions, I'm a bit unsure about that. Our closest challengers are probably the Washington Nationals. I really hope we can overtake them. And Atlanta at 95 wins, I'm not sure if they're a 95-win team. They have improved from last year, so I expect them to certainly do better than the Nationals, but whether they run away with the division as they've been tipped to this time, who knows. So that brings a close to the off-season. If anyone's got any queries, if anyone wants to sort of see any players, see where they ended up, please let me know in the comments. What did you guys think of if the trades I made? What about the season? What's your predictions? Are we gonna finally make the playoffs? And until tomorrow, thanks for watching.